We are live, ladies and gentlemen, and we've got cricket song in the house. I'm like super, super, super excited. So I'm so glad to have her here because, I've said, all the people who know me know that I really look forward to this chat because I know how knowledgeable cricket song is. So we're going to have a chance now to talk with her, and we're going to talk about how to develop your magical skills, your magical power, your intuition. How do you do that? Because I believe that we all have the ability to do so. Okay, but before I wanted to make it clear something to my viewers of yesterday, because the people that saw the show yesterday remember that I was talking about that I was about to do the show whose title was How to Be Unbothered. And just like 1 minute before I'm starting the show, I'm getting this small anxiety attack. And I'm like, why do I feel so strange? Because there was nothing to feel upset about. And then I decided, because I'm giving you this example because we're talking about developing magical skill. I'm going to show you like the cards I had. Let me see, like this. Let me see if I can show it. Yes, I can show it. Okay. So after feeling stressed out, I started pulling cards. And I got this. Okay. So I'm not going to explain what this is because it's in the show of yesterday. But if you see like two swords remaining, 2 cups remaining, and somebody crying over spilled milk, the other one taking this away, then leaving with it, and then this. You remember, like I told you, and then when this happened yesterday, I showed you these cards. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, just look at the video, the first 5 minutes of the video, How to Be Unbothered. There I explain. So I pulled these cards, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get robbed. I'm like, what's going to happen? And then I'm like, and I did my muscle testing, and the muscle testing was saying that it's not me. And I said, is it the world? I said, yeah, the world. It was the world. Then I'm like, okay. Later on, I went about my business, did the rest of the show, and I got my hair cut and so on. And later, when I came home, my mom told me that my house, my parental house, where I've lived since I was 4 years old, the house in front of them, people came in and they got mugged. But mugged like terrorist style. People came in because they knew that the neighbor had won in casino. So they went in and took 8,000 guilders, that's like $4,000. So they went in, took 8,000 guilders, and ran out. But I mean, style like terrorist style, not going sneaking in, like came in, va va va, come keeping everybody at gunpoint. And that happened like at the time I was doing the show. So I think that's why I'm like, and I'm like, why am I feeling like this? But later on, so maybe like I said, I thought when I said, it's going to happen to me? They said no. I said the world. I said yeah. I heard like yes. Me? No. The world? Yes. Okay, so it's the world in a certain way because it's the neighbor, but I think that solves the mystery. So that's why I wanted to clear that out before the show, so that you know that what happened with the cards of yesterday. That's it, basically. Okay, so now we're going to. The reason why I thought that it was okay to come with this rant is because we're talking about developing your magical skills, your intuition, and I probably like picked up something, and that's what I saw. Okay, so and my my second today is new moon. That's why I'm super happy that I had the cricket song here with a solar eclipse. And I put on the intention of developing my magical skills even more, evolving more, my psychic skills. And one of the reasons why I thought it's important to do that now, even more than ever. In the past, I tried, but I wasn't like very disciplined, and now I'm like more disciplined than ever. It's because I feel, or I sense, that we are in the world now of where the trickster archetype is like partying like crazy. The trickster archetype is like, ooh, I'm going to do this, put a little salt here, put a little this here, put this here. People like pam, 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 and he's like, I'm seeing this. So I think that it's more important than ever to be like, to smell the bullshit quickly, to be able to like sense the energy, sense deception, sense all of this. And with taking in account this situation, my first question then to Cricket Song is: are there several truths, or is there only one truth? And if there's one truth, why do well-intentioned psychic people pick up different messages? If there's only one message, one source, and one truth.
I think there is. I think it's a complicated question. I don't think there's an easy answer for that. And I think it's because each of us are human beings, and we are looking at experiences in the world and the nature of divine source and the nature of humans and the nature of nature around us from a perspective that is uniquely our own. So even if we were all, and I guess I would, my gut is to say there is universal truths. There's more than one truth, but we're all looking at it from different perspectives. It's like that metaphor. There's an elephant in the room and you have a bunch of people, blind people, and they're all surrounding the elephant and they're all viewing or experiencing the elephant, but they're doing it from different angles. But the elephant is still an elephant. So if I'm at the front of the elephant and I'm blind and I'm feeling the trunk, it feels like one thing. And if you're at the back feeling the tail or even a leg or the side of the elephant, it feels differently. But we're both experiencing the same truth, being the elephant. I think one of the universal truths is love. Love is a universal truth, but each of us experience love in a different way because of our life experience when we were born and everything we've experienced up until this point, where you and I are experiencing love, but it feels differently. And it's hard to explain that feeling when it's a feeling. So I think that's what we're seeing, that we are all experiencing a truth, but it's from our unique perspective. But I think another thing to take note of is that the world, humanity and the world we're going through a huge transition and transformation. And I think the trickster archetype is taking advantage of the shifting and influencing people, even with good intentions. And because our modern society is easily influenced by people with charisma, people with power, people with money, people with, the spotlight on them, we're easily influenced because of how we've been conditioned. Many of us are not awoken. Many of us are living in a dreamland and are not consciously creating. We are just allowing the outside influences steer us, and we're reacting more than creating.
Okay, yes. Makes a lot of sense. Blow me away, because I knew about the archetype, the story of the elephant, but I've never understood. I never made a connection with this question. So it's great how we are connecting dots. Okay. So
did I stump you there?
yeah, because now what happens is like, because I'm getting all this new information, I'm like, oh, I need. I'm trying now to dissect it and put everything, in the right place.
Yeah.
While I'm like doing that, I'm going to keep talking to you about other things, and later on, I mean, I've got my pen here. When I start putting everything on their place, I'll write them down. Now we're going to talk about skills. Like I said, the reason why it's very important now more than ever to have like very good psychic abilities, good magical skills, good bullshitometer, and so on. Um, when you how did you develop your skills? And what I want to know is like, I'm going to go through several depending on the time. Several of these skills and how you've evolved them, and if you tell us our story, maybe it could be like a kind of inspiration.
Okay.
Okay, like one of the easiest way, that's why I'm going to start with it, because it's something that we all do, we all dream. Okay. So and dreams are like a dream, and dream work is an important aspect of or at least for me it has been like a guidance. Like if I dream something, it has happened that I have this dream, and that something happens that explains the dream. How was it that for you? The dreaming, connecting dreams with things that happen around you, and evolving them, and that.
For me, there's different types of dreams that I have. And so it's important for me to understand what type of dream it is. Because for me, at least, every single dream I have isn't a vision. Every single dream I have isn't a trip to the astral realm. Sometimes it's just those dreams, meeting, I don't know, Harrison Ford, that's just a dream, that's just my mind reliving a great movie I just saw before I went to bed. So I used to keep a journal so that I could say, oh, okay, jot down that dream I just had, and then look, is it connected to a movie or a novel I'm reading? Is it connected to my favorite character from Lord of the Rings or something like that? And look at what I experienced in that dream to see if it was just a dream. If it's just a dream and it's my mind trying to work out a problem or a conflict or a interaction I had the day before and I was unsettled by it, is it my mind just trying to, well, damn, I wish I would have said that instead. Oh, that's a good comeback. How come I didn't use that? That kind of thing. Then I have that opportunity to contemplate that and work through. Maybe there's a shadow, or maybe there's a fragmented part of myself that I need to work on. Then there are those visions. I mean, I'm sure many of us have had visions, things that are going to happen, or things that are, message from our guides or the spiritual entities we work with. So that gives me a great opportunity to, jot that down and to have that somewhere that I can either validate it for myself or take information from it, so that when that happens, I sort of have, an idea and I know how I want to react. So I'm not just reacting, I'm actually being a part of that experience. I have some influence because I have foreknowledge of that. And then there is those dreams where they're actually astral traveling in my dream. I find that when I'm sleeping is the easiest time. And I'm sure many of us have that, where I can disconnect without fear. And I can actually travel and meet people, or meet entities, or have moments with my guides and my familiar spirit, and work out magical things, do some magic in the astral realm, do some work, real work. But I think for me, a lot of it is, and I'm still, I must add, I'm still working on dream. There is a way to, I'm trying out a new exercise, I guess, to do more lucid dreaming, where it's still dreaming. It's not astral travel. It's not receiving a message. It's not just working out, but it's actually intending certain dreams to see if I can work through things. So I'm still working on that. But I think the journaling and the sort of keeping track of and touching base and with what I've dreamt and that works best for me. I don't know what else to really say and how to develop that.
Yes, that's like one of the ones that we all do already, or most of us. I mean, I think that's like a minority that doesn't like. The one that I have the hardest time with is the second one I want to talk about. That's astrology, because it requires serious knowledge. So you need to know stuff. You need to understand stuff, and that's like the one I'm like probably the weakest in, but I'm trying to work on that this one. Like, how was it for you?
I cannot speak on astrology because the only thing I know is my own chart, kind of. I go to someone when I need advice in regards to astrology. Yeah, I cannot speak on that with any authority. So I'm right there with you.
Oh, okay. It's hard, man. It's so hard.
Yeah, there is so much. Yeah. And I feel like astrology, I believe and I think, and I feel that there is real like science there. Like there is, I know when you're reading a chart, there's more intuitiveness, but I think there is like, this is how it is. Yeah. Right now, it's beyond me, at least.
Oh, so then it's not only me. I mean, it's
no.
I think because that's like the hardest part. I read it to it, but it's like for me, it's the hardest part. Like if somebody, look at your natal chart. Don't you see this? I'm like, no, I'm not seeing anything.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think every time I go to either sign up for a course or go to pick up a book, it's just overwhelming. So for me, I mean, I do a lot of other things. So I feel like for now, that's just not something I meant to dive into. I have good friends and professional associates who really, that's their cup of tea. So I just go to them when I'm looking for that kind of information.
Okay. Now the next one I've got here on my list to ask you about, of course, tarot. I mean, that's, I think, something that you know about, right?
Yes. Tarot. I love tarot. Tarot, oracle cards, those kind of things really speak to me. They really do. So what is it that how to develop your work in tarot?
Yes. How do you, because I can learn by heart the meaning of the cards. I understand that just like a word means something different in the sentence, depending on the sentence. A card means something different depending on the place it's in the spread. That's I've got this basic notion about that, and I know it's not only learning the card, but you need to download something as well.
Yeah.
Like you saw, like the cards I got, when I was feeling like, I'm just sitting here minding my own business. Suddenly I'm like, my heart does, and so how in your own path, how did you like learn the cards first, and then how did you go about learning?
Okay, so me with I have a story here for you. When I was a young girl, raised in a Roman Catholic household, right? So there was no real any kind of tarot or divination really in the home. But I used to take a deck, a deck of playing cards, and I would bring my sister and we would go, down the hall, and I'd set up a little table and I'd tell her, my sister's 4 years younger than I am. So she was like really little. I told her, I'm going to read your cards. And I would use the deck and I would flip it over and I would give her a fortune. Now I remember hearts were love. I mean, we're talking about a young girl. Like if I was like maybe 12, maybe even younger. She's 4 years younger than me. She didn't know what I was doing, right? Diamonds were like money and that kind of thing. Spades were bad stuff. And the clubs, I don't remember what I associated clubs with, but I would flip over the cards and I would give her her reading. Not knowing tarot existed at that time, not knowing if what I was make believe is what I was. I was being a fortune teller, right? So I think part of my connection with the cards clearly was there for a very long time before I eventually, like 20 years later, 20 years later, discovered tarot and said, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I was doing back then, not realizing what I was doing. And the deck I first started with was the Egyptian tarot deck, which the trumps, the major arcana, had images, but the pips or the minor suits were just, there was no real image. It was like the wands were just wands, 4 wands. There was no image within it. So how I approached that is I studied the meaning of each card, but I kept getting tripped up because some of them just didn't resonate. Like the meaning of the 4 of wands to me wasn't what the little book said it was supposed to mean. So what I ended up doing then is I went through all those minors and looked and sort of sat with each card and came up with my own keywords. And then I'd look at what the little book said and try to find a correlation between the two that felt right. Then I've picked up a Rider-Waite and said, are you kidding? Why didn't I start with this? This would have been easier for me. But I think for me, studying, and this is what I teach, I teach tarot to students. So looking at what the traditional meaning of the card is important because there is so much rich symbolism. But I find that if you don't have a Christian background, some of the symbolism doesn't mean anything to you. You don't have an association with it. But I still think you can use the tarot. I still think you can use the Rider-Waite, but maybe it'll be easier if you don't have all that Christian symbolism. But learning the actual symbolism is important. And then filing that somewhere and then sort of going with your own intuitiveness, the messages that you get yourself that may not necessarily directly connect with a symbol in that card, because I approach it as an intuitive reader. I do know there are tarot readers that don't really use a lot of their own intuition. They're reading the card for the card. But then I know there are a lot of intuitive readers that just intuitively read it and don't even look at the traditional symbolism. I fall somewhere in between. I think the traditional symbolism is important, but using your own intuitiveness and listening to the spirit realm as it tries to speak with you as you're reading, using your own intuition, using everything that's available to you as either a psychic or a witch or a magical practitioner, or using your spirit guides or whatever it is that you work with. I think you can get a more deeper reading. And then looking at that overall picture in the layout or the cards that you pulled, like your 4 cards, how do those cards relate to each other? What are the images trying to tell you? Is that image in the, I don't remember what card you picked up, but is the personal is the person walking away from something, or is it walking to the other card? So say you have a King of Swords and a Queen of Cups. And if one is reversed, are they back to back or face to face? I think there are meanings there too. You know,
Yes,
is the knight galloping towards the other cards, or is he separate, or is he in the middle? Is something behind him and something in front of him? I think there is a bigger picture that sometimes we might miss if we're not looking for it.
Yes, because I don't know all the meaning of all the cards by heart, although they're not massive amounts, but you forget and so on. And I've never tried to memorize them. So what I've done like this time, because I'm like sitting doing my business, and I'm like shuffling them quickly and putting them like if it's like a cartoon, a strip, like a cartoon type thing, So and just read the story, like someone, because I've studied literature. So, because I have a master's degree in literature, I'm just looking at the I just look at it as a cartoon. I just narrate the story. So, and if I see this, I'm like, okay, somebody stole something. They took this away and only left that, and because of that, this person is very sad. Okay, because he's left only with two, and but he has to remember that it's the same two as here, and somebody left. It's either this person left or this one left because he's disappointed. I don't know, but from somewhere, the person that left later on will get new. Will get new of what was lost. Without knowledge, just like somebody who's watching a cartoon or a strip book. Yeah.
Right. So can you tilt the camera back down? I want to show you something. So if you look at that first card, the one with the swords, I don't know what number that is. See, the image in that is walking away from the one in the cups. Yep, that one, but is looking back at the person in the cups. So I would say that first card took from the second card, but then the third card, the images in the boat are moving away from the person in the cups. So I don't even know if that's the same person. Do you see? They're back to back.
Yeah. So I understand what you mean.
Yeah, there's even a connection between that as well. None of the figures are really looking at each other except the two cards, the two first ones, but that one took, clearly the swords took from the one, mourning what is lost. Okay. I might even say that third card took the two cups with them. You see, two of the swords are separate from the rest and is moving towards the Ace of Pentacles. So they're taking and they're going to invest it in whatever that Ace of Pentacles represents.
Oh. So this person is this person, you mean?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure. They could be because they're both swords, but I almost feel like, yeah, maybe.
It could be because this was like probably, yes, yeah.
That's the same person. Yeah.
Because it's the same dress and see the same shoe. No, only the pants are different. No, because it was they think that's probably like an inside job because somebody saw this person waiting and notified, So
yeah, I agree.
That would make sense that you say that it's three different people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And now that money that has been stolen will be invested in something.
Yeah, or spent somewhere or taken somewhere. So yeah, the situation that you talked about definitely fits that reading in my mind too.
Yeah. Oh, but now I've learned something new. That's like looking at the face because, like I said, because I don't know a lot of things by heart. I like like cartoon style.
But I think that cartoon style that you read works very well. And I think because you're approaching it that way, the cards, the spirits will speak to you in that way. And I think that's important. I mean, I started out doing spreads that you find in books. Celtic Cross spread was my favorite spread to use. But over the years, I've developed my own spread. I've developed my own way of reading. And because I continuously do it that way, I know the cards will speak to me in that way. But that doesn't mean my way is going to work for you, because clearly your narration works, and the cards will speak to you in that way so that you get a clearer picture.
Yeah, while I mean, because of course I'm trying to memorize the meaning, I'm trying to get, but meanwhile, I'm like helping myself that way. Okay, very interesting. I mean, like this is a subject on itself so deep, but I want to like go on with the other things. Okay, so the next one I have here is scrying. Maybe we can start by explaining what it means and how you've evolved in that ability.
So I'm not sure exactly what the official definition of scrying is, but for me, when I'm looking at scrying, it's like looking into something for deeper understanding, or for knowledge, or using a tool. Usually, when I think of scrying, I'm using a tool like a candle flame or a mirror. That's my biggest one, or even my crystal ball is scrying. Looking, focusing, and allowing yourself to fall into whatever it is. So if I'm doing my crystal ball, it's falling into the world of the crystal ball. If it's the black mirror, it's falling into that world of the black mirror to gain insight into whatever it is I'm looking to get more information on. So I can scry for myself, I can scry for others, and it can be a situation that they're looking for. Like when you're using tarot, it's a form of divination. Developing that's part of sort of like trusting your intuition and developing your relationship with the spirit realm. At least that's how I would approach it and how I did approach it. So meditation is important in order to get into that altered state of consciousness where then you can scry. It's sort of allowing yourself to not be distracted by what's going on around you anymore, sort of detaching from the physical world in order to come into alignment or vibrational resonance with the spiritual realm, and just, letting those images or whatever it is that you use. Scrying generally deals with the eyes. So allowing those images to come to you and receive that knowledge and that information. Practice. Scrying, I find, requires practice. Actually, so does tarot. I mean, you really have to practice it.
Do you have like a rule or something about when you have a question, when you choose this method and when you're going to use the other method? Or does it depend on the type of question, or do you just like I just do what comes up in my mind? Like I said, I'm seeing this, feel this thing that doesn't make sense. Suddenly I have my heart pounding. Like, what the hell is going on? What the fuck's going on? Let me take this car seat, Then, but I mean, I'm just like, I don't have like a method. I do whatever, Oh, this looks nasty. Is it me? It's like, is this going to happen to me? And I cannot ask that in tarot because I'm not qualified enough to like, this card means yes, this card means no. Because I'm like, I go direct, I do the muscle testing. So I'm like, depending on the, so like you, because you're like more knowledgeable, years of experience, how do you do it? Like how,
when it's me. So when it's for me, I generally rely on, sometimes I'll pull cards for myself, but if it's information that I want to know for myself, I usually go to my altar and I do meditation and wait for messages that way. If I don't do scrying in my black mirror for anybody but me, and that's usually spirit communication. If I want to speak to someone, my beloved dead, I will go to the black mirror, and that's generally reserved for them and only them. I'll use a Ouija board for that as well. It's for me and the dead. Those are our forms of communication. My crystal ball is and cards and witches' runes are for clients. The witches, Crystal ball is more of a general read or it's more symbolic. Cards I can pull for very specific questions and get very specific answers. So if someone comes to me and says, oh, I want to have a crystal ball reading with you, but I want to know this specific question. I'm like, if you really want a specific answer, I would really steer you towards a tarot reading. But if you're just looking for general advice, because the crystal ball tends to give me very symbolic readings, and it's more of like a film strip when I'm scrying with my crystal ball. I'll see like flashes or moments. It's not very specific, but sometimes that's what the individual needs, a more general, idea of what's happening or what they need to know.
Okay. Okay, so that's the rule that you hold. So depending on how deep or how specific.
Yeah. Like if a client comes to me and wants to know if they're trying to have a baby and they want to know if it's going to happen this year, I would do a tarot reading more than I would do a crystal ball reading. Okay. Very specific. And for me, because depending on who I want to connect with and get information about, if it's more about my family or my life in the physical realm, I will speak to my beloved dead. So that means I should go to my mirror. If I'm looking for a more spiritual enlightenment, I'm trying to work on this particular shadow that I have and I want to break through, I would go into meditation. And I would try to speak to my primary guide or my familiar spirit more with magic. If I'm dealing with a spell and I want to do a spell, but I'm not sure if this is the right time or this is the right spell, I would pull cards for that.
Okay. Now, and you said that you work with runic systems more with clients. Is there like a reason why you choose runic systems or runes instead of tarot, or do you feel that they can be used interchangeably?
So I do not use the Futhark runes. It's witches runes that I use. So it's not the Nordic runes at all.
Okay.
The witches runes are more, there's 13 stones, and they generally go with more of a magical or folk practice. They're like little pictures. So what I do is I use them in conjunction with tarot or oracle because I feel like they can give a summary of the cards that I've pulled. So if I've done a spread for someone in regards to maybe that pregnancy, am I going to be pregnant this year? Pull out the cards. Cards say maybe, which is usually what I get, not a definite yes or no. And this is what you need to work on if you want to be pregnant this year. It looks like you have some health things going on. It looks like your relationship has a little issues. It looks like where you're living. And then I'll pull a rune to sort of summarize what we've said. What is the main focus of this? Oh, it says the harvest. It means that, yes, by the end of the year, you will harvest what you put in. Have you worked on all these things, or have you said, my life is great the way it is? Then you're going to harvest what you've put in. So if you haven't put in any effort, then you're not going to get the outcome that you want. But if you put in all the effort, then you'll get the outcome that you want. So I feel like it's ties everything in together. I don't always pull a rune. It depends on the person, if they're interested, or if spirit guides me to. Sometimes I will. Sometimes I may pull an oracle card to go with the tarot cards too, but I find that the oracle cards are very similar to the witches runes that I use. It's sort of like a summarize what's going on.
Okay. You told me like in the other show that we had, the other conversation, that you do channeling. And I'm like curious to go deeper into that, because that's not something that you see like in many witches books. Like if you look up some book, Wicca Bible or any book about witchcraft, you don't come about channeling a lot. I've never seen being spoken of that in the context of witchcraft, at least not Celtic or European witchcraft. Maybe it's my lack, but I mean, I would love to know more about that. How did you evolve that? Because that's like a very, I think, not very easy skill to evolve.
Well, because I started out Wiccan, and I started out with Wiccan rituals, the drawing down the moon is a form of channeling, but I don't think a lot of people connect the two. The idea behind drawing down the moon is stepping aside, taking your consciousness and stepping aside to allow the goddess to inhabit your body, to share a message with those who have gathered in circle with you. So channeling sort of kind of evolved from that. I don't know how many, if you're not in a traditional coven, I'm not sure how many eclectic covens really do a drawing down the moon. I think a lot of the times what they do is more what I would describe as an aspecting, sort of taking on characteristics of the goddess, but not truly channeling. It's like divine possession. That's what channeling is, sort of, in my experience. I can't speak for other channelers. I don't know what they do, but watching Abraham Hicks, I think Esther does divine possession. I think she clearly is allowing Abraham to inhabit and speak through her. She's the voice for it. Bashar also did that. Seth, if you read about Ruth, yes. Divine
no, because I didn't even know about none of that. It's I knew about possession, but as a negative thing, like when you in Rosemary's Baby and those kind of stuff, So that's the scary part. I never knew about channeling, and the first time I knew about channeling was when the movie Secret came out, and because of that, I found out about Esther Hicks. Then that was the first time in my life I've heard about channeling as a positive thing.
Yes.
And I've done like a very like introductory course when I was in Spain, because now I live like in a small Caribbean island. I don't have like access to all the stuff that I used to have. But when I was in Spain, I did do a very introductory course with a lot of meditation, but I mean, it's something that I would like to evolve, but I'm not sure if I'm ready, because I think I probably have like fear.
Yes.
I was conscious fear, because I'm like if I told you like why I don't feel like I'm a witch, the reason is because there are a lot of aspects that feel uncomfortable to me, and although that, so I have like this double thing, that a part of me wants it, but a part of me fears it. And and I think that's the reason why I've never managed to break through that. And I'm very interested. So
I think getting rid of that fear is important, because that's going to sort of stop the flow. So like I would suggest someone who wants to do channeling, start with automatic writing, because it's not as all encompassing. Meditation. That's how I started. When I said, okay, I'm going to be doing authentic drawing down the moon. I want to be the vessel. I want to be the spokesperson for the goddess that we were working with. And I want to fully engross myself and allow this to occur, because I think it would be beneficial for the group, and I think it would be beneficial for me. And there was a sort of like procedure I went through, a ritual I went through, in order to allow myself to be that open, because there is that fear. There is that fear. What if the spirit doesn't leave? What if the spirit doesn't want to leave? What if I think I'm channeling the goddess and it's some trickster spirit? Or what if it's just some spirit that happens to be flying by? I don't want to allow myself not to come back to myself, because we have been, shown The Exorcist. That was like my all-time favorite movie, Rosemary's Baby, and all these, The Conjuring, and all these, Drag Me to Hell, and all these horror movies, I always had someone in the beginning. My husband was, I referred to as my handler, that would keep an eye, because he knew me very well and still does, can tell when things are not going right, when things are, and we had a sort of a setup as to, if this happens, this is what you're going to do to bring me back. But it takes a lot of breaking down those fears that you have.
Yes. In Becoming Rich, do you talk about that?
Do I talk about channeling? I just mentioned channeling, and I don't go into detail about it. No.
No. Okay, but it would be interesting, like maybe to. I'm sure that a lot of people wants to know, like, how do you become a channel? Although, like I said, it's probably like one of the things that, because it makes you very vulnerable, or you think it's scary, but still, I think there's. I think a lot of people.
I think it goes really hand in hand with a medium, because mediums, depending on what type of medium you are, there are mediums that sort of speak, your beloved dead is standing beside you, and I'm speaking with them in that way. Then there are mediums, like if you're doing a seance, that may channel the dead, like in that movie Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg is, so a trance medium, as opposed to someone who is just bringing the beloved dead in the presence, sort of evoking instead of invoking. So I think mediumship and channeling can go hand in hand. So if you're, I think it's almost like a step, to speaking with an entity outside of oneself, and then taking that next step and allowing the entity to use you. There's a lot of, like I said, fear in that, because that could open the door to a not so pleasant possession.
That's the thing. Like, so there are things I'm like, I feel like they're reckless, or I find like that is one of them, and second one is probably like summoning demons. I'm like, why are you trying this kind of? Those are the things that I probably like I'm the most uncomfortable with, because I'm like, okay, I don't need demons. I teach high school. I have to deal with difficult kids. I have to deal with enough demons in my day. I don't need my free time to be summoning demons. Those are things like I'm like, oh, I find scary, and even, but I think it's movies too, because and the fear for the trickster archetype, and what you said, like the last, I even had like a book about that, the Wicca, not that thing with the numbers that you go
the Ouija board.
Ouija board, the movies you see about that, I'm like completely astonished. If somebody still has the bravery, or the recklessness, depends on how you want to watch it, because
and it depends on the individual using the tool. I think it's important to understand that, like Ouija boards or crystal balls or tarot cards. Some people are afraid of tarot cards. All these things are tools that we use in order to communicate with a non-physical spirit. So it's like a cell phone. You can dial that cell phone. If you don't know the number and you're just randomly dialing, you have no idea who you're going to get on the other line. And I think that's the same with the tools, with the Ouija board. I don't generally just, open it up and say, anyone and everyone come speak to me, because that's reckless. Although I might know better how to deal with that than a 13-year-old.
Yes. Yeah, it makes lots of sense because because I'm too much of a novice to be, to try to do something like that. But I'm sure that if you're knowledgeable, you will sense and you will be like more able to be discerning in those kind of things.
And you set up a place and you make sure you're in control of the experience. You set up circle or a grid or something to protect you from unwanted energies, just like when you're going to astral travel. Yes. You're not going to recklessly astral travel. You're not going to recklessly maybe you will jump in your car and go somewhere without GPS and without a cell phone, although you might have done that back in the day, and just drive somewhere, with a quarter tank of gas and just hope you're going to run into a gas station. It's like preparedness,
Oh yeah, but that's why it's great to talk with somebody like you, because there are a lot of things that for me are like I'm like, okay, I find that and there's no one, like most people will tell me, yes, that's right, that's bad, that's you have no business doing that, and then someone like you will come and tell me like, okay, yes, it can be dangerous or it cannot be, depending on are you taking provisions, because I've done astral traveling and I've been like in one small trouble in all my astral travels, and majority of the times I've never had like serious problems. I've only had like once.
And I've had people tell me that they would never astral travel. What are you doing? You're crazy. Yeah. You're going to get stuck. You'll never come back. You're going to meet entities that are going to try to harm you. Some people are so afraid of that, and yet you've done it.
Yes, but it was a nice adventure, and now that like with lockdown, because like now I'm open and free again for like 2 or 3 weeks, but I've been like in lockdown forever, and I love the adventures. I would just lie down and do this and do that, and I think I've like what happened to me with the astral traveling once, and that like me. I've been like a while without doing it. I remember once I was astral traveling when I was still in Spain. I got this course and I went somewhere, and this red-headed woman was trying to sexually molesting me, and I'm not a lesbian, and this woman would come this woman was luring me. I remember like it was big breast, and she had like curly hair like mine, but red. And she was like white with like blue eyes and it's long, curly red hair. And she would come and tell me, yeah, you need to do this to me, and all kinds of sexual activities that I find absolutely disgusting, because like I'm not a lesbian. So what you're wanting me to do, I'm not going to be able to do it without throwing over, And this woman would be like, and she was having me in the house, and she would not let me go, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm never going to do this again, So I've got like that a situation that happened to me once, like during astral travel. But that was like the worst thing that ever happened. Worst, like compared to like that was like my worst experience. I've had like nice experiences, and that was like the worst one. And it wasn't even that bad. It was just a little bit uncomfortable, because I was finding an elegant way not to hurt the woman's feelings, but make sure I can leave that it wasn't an apartment, it was a house, like the detached house. So that was like the only thing but besides that, it was in majority, it was okay. And like I said, so and I wasn't even knowledgeable. I just did like this one course, and they only told me about the white light. Protect yourself with the white light. Make sure you go through your chakras, And I think I might have not been like very thorough. I don't know how to say the word in English and how to write it. Like I didn't do the pre-work I felt like too comfortable. and I didn't like do like the white light and the chakras well enough, because like you do it the first time, the second time, and the third time, then you're like, oh, you feel like comfortable, and you just go without preparing. I think that's why that happened, and so yes, it's and after and like I think my friends kept laughing at me like forever about that, when I told this friend, I mean, I caught this women who was harassing me, and they would keep laughing and taunting me about that forever. But and I think that was like, but that was like the biggest like turn off or bad experience. But besides that, it was fabulous. It was great, and I think I should be doing it again. Mm-hmm. But yes, you're right. I mean, it's navigating in a way in which you you dance between being careful, mm-hmm. still be open.
Yes.
And it's like starting a new relationship, or it's actually everything you do has risk.
Yes. Yep.
Every man can be a womanizer. Every friend can be a backstabber. I mean, every time you open yourself up to whatever apply for a job, you will be rejected. I mean, everything has this thing in it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to risk, you cannot win. You might not lose, but you cannot win. And it's probably learning how to navigate.
It is. And to sort of bring it back, it's that intuition. It's that, building up your intuition, building up the ability for you to sense energies of yourself and of others mm-hmm. and other situations. It's sort of going hand in hand with that. Because if you're going to apply for a job and you go for the interview and you get bad vibes about the person interviewing you, maybe you don't want that job. If you're going on a date and all of a sudden you start feeling bad vibes or bad energy from the person you're dating, maybe you don't want to date them anymore. If you wake up in the morning and you have plans to jump in your car and go on a trip and you had a bad dream about that trip, maybe you want to pull cards and look into where you're going, or check the weather, or check your car, because maybe there's something there for you to listen to. When we ignore our intuition, when we believe that someone else knows better for us than we do without really questioning why we think that way, is when we end up getting ourselves into situations that are not beneficial for us.
But I'm struggling with something like that now. I'm dealing with some let me call it someone, with bad juju, and I feel something, but I want to be kind and friendly, and I'm like, and that has been my rope more than once, that I'm like, okay, I don't want to reject the person, or I don't want to jump avoid this person, or avoid this group, or avoid this person, because I want to be kind and so on. And I don't know how to find an elegant way to avoid, but I'm smelling, and
pull cards, see what the cards say. Do a meditation, see what your guides say.
Mm-hmm. I've done it, and I got like, because I have like this very simple one that I found by Tarot by Janine or something, a very simple spread. The spread is like only like 1 is quarant, 2 is a situation, 3 here it is the vibe or the atmosphere, 4 I have it written down here. 4 it's like a past. Let me see. Yes, 4. No, I'm saying it wrong. 1 is quarant, 2 is about situation, ask, 3 here is like past, 4 is atmosphere around the situation, 5 is near future, and then 6 and 7 is for advice. And then you look in the cards, you look, if you see like major arcanas, those are things that are fate, that is very difficult to move or to change. And if it's a minor arcana, it's something that you could deal or sort out. I've written it down like very like this, because I found like I've just because it was like quickly I saw the video and I've written it down, and like nobody can understand what I'm writing, but I know what I mean, So, and I've done that, and I got like for the person I got like heart like three of swords. So I saw that it's a person is severely damaged, I think. And when I started to ask for advice, and I'm getting all these pages, so people, immature people. So
Yeah.
this group, like a lot of immature people and stuff, but the person never done anything wrong to me. So I'm like, feel bad, in jumping ship, and I'm like, okay, I think, but it's good to talk about this with you. That's why I'm like, so happy, so grateful to have you here, because then I have someone where I can spool my heart out and talk, and someone that understands. Because, like I said, if the majority of the people, if I like, girl, what are you talking about? Most people, and I'm like, now I can talk to you, and I know that you understand what I mean, and how I need to like learn to wanting to be kind and friendly, but my intuition, and I know that it's dangerous. I mean, did you watch the movie like what? It's a new movie, What Lies Below, or something like that.
What Lies Beneath?
Yes, it's about this. It's a new movie. It's about this girl of 16 years old. She goes to her home, and her mom has this boyfriend that looks like a model, super attractive dude. No, then you didn't watch it, because
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Who's in it? Do you know?
I'm going to go to Netflix. I'm going to show it to you, because
okay.
Because it's a movie that I would never watch. The thing is that the reason I watched it is because we have like at home. We have like Netflix and chill Saturday evening, and my daughter always gets to choose the movie. So that's how I get to see movies that I would never ever watch in my life. What Lies? Let me see. What's the names? What? Yeah, What Lies Below.
Who's in it?
I'm going to do a share screen.
Okay.
Okay, so then let me see. Share screen. We're going to Chrome. Okay, Netflix. Why doesn't it show? Let me see. Here. Yeah. It's supposed to show now. Let me see if I can.
I'm going to write this down. I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to play it a little bit so that you see what I mean. Oh, no, they don't. That's not what I wanted.
There's no trailer?
Yes, and that's what I wanted to show you, like the trailer. I wanted to play the trailer. But if I do this, it will play.
It's play the movie. Yeah.
I love hold for your feelings.
Oh.
John isn't going anywhere. In fact, I think you should apologize.
No.
No, she should apologize.
Babe, it's fine. Really. Okay? If we're going to be a family.
So this dude, hold up. I need to go back quickly here. Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, so it's this movie. Like my daughter chose it, and I think it's always good to watch things that you would never watch from yourself, because you're in your own rut, in your own thing, and then you get like fresh. So like this is like something similar. Like the girl, 16 years old. Her mom is with this guy that looks fabulous, and she's like, this smells like geneticist, like like good, super intelligent, super attractive, and she's like, and I mean, I'm not going to tell too much, but when you see the movie, you will see like that. This movie is the one that I think I made a video about this that I'm going to premiere later. That I'm doing like a little bit of a narratological like a critique type video about that. About and the name of the video is like Understanding Evil. But this is the trickster, this dude, that's going to lure you in, that looks like a good looking guy, looks, he's guy's smooth, and but he has his plan. So okay, I don't know, I forgot why I'm talking about this. Okay, but I mean, anyway, moral of the story is that you have your intuition, you have fear that's not good, so fear that's from the ego, and you have like when your intuition is telling you that something smells like so you have like the ego fear and the higher self fear, and you have to distinguish between the two of them and to navigate that with the trickster and find a way to elegantly navigate situations. And I'm like, because sometimes I want to be kind, or I don't want to, because I don't have evidence, because I'm like, you cannot follow this, because maybe it's the negative ego fear, and maybe it's not the higher self fear. Maybe I'm not being kind, maybe I'm listening to gossip, maybe so I have to think in so many things, and because I don't want to be unfair and dropping people. So it's very complicated, and that's why it's, like I said, that's why it's great to talk with somebody like you, because I take a lot of things into consideration, and I need to listen more to my intuition and try to find a kind way to go about it without hurting anyone. And I think you understand what I mean, no? It's
I do.
We live in a murky 3D reality.
Yeah. Because we're each of us are experiencing and living a life and having experiences that may not align with other people's experiences, but we're all in physical reality to have these contradicting experiences, and we're bumping into each other, and it's murky, it's complicated.
Yes. But thank you then for talking to us. We spent like more time than usual. I'm super grateful. You're going to have a show, I think 4:00. My time.
Saturday. I have a live on Saturday.
Oh, I thought it was today for new moon. I watched it. Okay.
No.
Okay. But anyway, for everybody watching the show, now or later, Cricket Song is going to have a live this Saturday, 4:00 Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, because it's 1:00 my time. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And she has a book, Becoming Rich.
I do.
You need to check that out. You've got it there. So what we're talking about here, mainly about developing your magical powers. This book is going to be a great help to learn to navigate this, all this. So thank you, Cricket Song.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone watching, and hope to see you soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love
you.